Well, good morning. It's our second full day here in Lisbon. We've got Dan there, and there's an invisible boyfriend a little bit beyond who doesn't want to be on camera. We've been doing little bits of work this morning, and I've been working on the vlog a bit this morning. But we're off out now. We're going to head to Belém. We're going to hopefully visit the monastery and maybe sample those delicious pastéis de nata. It's got to be done. Come on then. We're out and the weather is amazing. We're Brits in heaven here. November. Oh, look at it.
It's so bright.
I know, what's that thing in the sky? We're just waiting to cross the road here out opposite Cais Sodré station. We need to top up our zapping cards before we can make our way to Belém. I'm not sure how we're getting there yet, whether we're going to take the tram or the train. Let's see what the boys want to do. Whoa. We need to go to those máquinas there, those machines. Check our credit.
Sorry.
Right. Well, we've decided to get the train because it's quicker and more spacious. You should see the speed of this writing. Read it quick if you can. Look at that. Quick. Right, let's go. I'm drinking this watered down juice. I just had a bit left, this orange juice, that much left, so I just topped it up with tap water, and it's very refreshing. I highly recommend it. But be careful though on these trains because there are no toilets. Be warned. And we're off.
I saw a cheeky chap chomping on chip shop chips.
How can you say that?
We're just passing the Pont 25 de Abril. So we've arrived at Belém. There's the station. We just climbed up this bridge. This is found an interesting seed pod. Well, it's interesting to us as we don't have trees like this in the UK, so we find this sort of thing fascinating. I know when they go dry they rattle.
Yeah, I know.
And you can use them as a shaker.
I know, my granddad used to have one. I'm not sure if he still has it.
We're passing a bit of a boatyard here. It must be a boat holder thingy. Look, there's the Mosteiro dos Descobrimentos, celebrating those early navigators. As you probably know, if you're watching this, Portugal is famously a seafaring nation. It has a very rich nautical history. Boys are doing a bit of fantasising about boat owning again. They were doing this in Cais the other day too. The weather's a bit warmer and drier here. There is the monastery across there. Here we are at the monument. It's the famous map on the floor here. I haven't been up here since about 1999. But Invisible Boyfriend and Izzy want to go up it. So we're going to see how much it costs. Okay, so it's 5 for adults, $2.50 for discount.
You counting it is?
Counting what?
The steps.
No.
It's 267. Why am I doing this?
Because you want to feel the fear. Invisible Boyfriend has a fear of heights. Look, lift option. There was a lift option from the very start, but we decided to be healthy and get our €5 worth in the form of torture.
Right, we're about a third of the way.
Third, my legs are hurting. My legs are now going to jelly. I'm beginning to wish I took my jumper off before I started. There's another lift. Oh, what can you see?
We're very high up.
Just having a little stop here to look at the view. I'm just going to take my jumper off a minute. Right, that's better. I packed a great big thick jumper because I looked at the weather forecast on an app and it said it was going to be 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. I'll put the Fahrenheit there because I don't know what it is, so I'm going to have to Google it. Anyway, so I thought, I know, I'll bring this big thick woolly jumper. Well, it's not woolly actually, it's synthetic. Anyway, I didn't need it, it's really, really warm.
Here's the natural.
People passing. 7th floor, still going. Look, we've done it! And there's Lizzie. Hello, little Lizzie.
Hello.
There's the monastery down there. So hopefully we're going to visit that shortly. Marina. Bridge. Sodré. So we're currently planning to take a ferry over the river tomorrow and then a bus and go to visit that monument and climb up that and then look out over at this monument from that one. What do you think, Izzy?
It's beautiful.
Have you worked up a bit of a thirst?
Yeah.
Me too. I wish I'd saved a bit more of my drink. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm just looking down the other side now. Oh, look at that water. It's all green and murky. I got the name wrong of this monument earlier in the vlog. It's actually the Padrão dos Descobrimentos. Those fountains down there look a bit lame, don't they? What's going on? They're in power save mode. Let's see if we can see that map from up here. Yeah, there it is, look. O mundo. Com muitas pessoas. They're like giants. There's that monastery again. That fountain there in the middle, it's sitting there dormant at this moment, but every so often it comes up in a great big whoosh and looks very spectacular. That's the Centro Cultural de Belém. There's a coach museum around here somewhere. I've never been to it, I would really like to. Over there, and very much worth a visit, is the Electricity Museum, which is free to get into. It's actually an old power station that used to use the river water. It's open to the public now. They've put a lot of sort of platforms and staging in so that you can climb up and have a good close look at the workings, and there's lots of sort of interpretation boards. And they also have a little section of hands-on activities for children, which are educational. There goes the train. Well, I certainly wouldn't have chosen to pay €5 to come up here on my own if it was just me. I was going with the consensus, to be honest, but actually I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of calm and peaceful and reflective, and it's quite good for getting a really good perspective on the city, actually. So yeah, I will give it a thumbs up. We've come right to the far end. Look, no leaning out. Well, I don't intend to, but I will hold the camera over the edge. Look, I think there's a seagull. Is that a seagull? No, it's a pigeon. Do excuse me, I'm squinting at the monitor here in the very bright sunlight. There's a pigeon on his head. No, it is a seagull. Okay, just humour me. We're going back down now. I'm just at the base of the steps here. I'll just take this opportunity to just give you a little bit of information. So as we said earlier, there are 267 steps. But of course there's a lift on every single level, so even if you start the steps you're not committed, you can hop in a lift at any time. There are toilets here. A couple of little vending machines. There are the toilets just there by the base of the steps. There's also an auditorium as well that does screens shows, I think, at certain times. The next one's at 3, we're not going to do it, but just so you know, it is there. Last couple of little steps to go to take us right back to the foyer again. We've come out of there now. We're going to take the underpass. There's a little underpass here, so you can go under that main road and the railway line and pop out over there. We could walk through the park and then make our way to the monastery. More of those scooters there. Izzy's wondering if there's a minimum age.
You have to be over 18.
You do you?
Yeah.
Park properly, helmet is required. You have to be 18 years old or over to ride for your safety. Do not ride on sidewalk or block traffic. Well, this is a first. We're actually waiting for the boys. They're usually waiting for me because I'm fiddling around with my camera. Quite often have a bus go down here in the underpass. I suppose it's the obvious place really, sheltered from the sun and lovely acoustics. Very resonant. haven't been to this monastery since the 90s either. Estamos aqui. We're here. Look where we are. How's that for a doorway then? That's impressive. Let's have a closer look at some of these carvings. I've just come into the Igreja here, the church part. This is free entry to this part. So if you didn't want to pay, you could just come into this bit if you wanted. I've lost my companions. I don't know if they're in here, but I'm going to have a look because I'm guessing they probably are. As always, one of the things I love to do in these sorts of buildings is look up. Oh, wow. I'm taking a look at this 17th century oil on canvas here. I always feel a little bit of an excited tingle when I look at very old paintings like this. I love to imagine what would have been in the mind of the painter and how different his, presumably his, life would have been. Invisible boyfriend texted to say he's in here somewhere. I wasn't expecting to see elephants. There are more elephants over there. I wonder what the significance of the elephants is. There's Izzy over there. Hola, querida. It's quite gruesome that, isn't it, if you think about it? Jesus in his tomb and carrying his cross. This bit of the door reminds me of an old camera bellows. Look at that. So we've come out of there. We were really blown away by that. It was impossible to convey the magnificence with this poxy little camera. We're contemplating going in the monastery section. It's €10 for an adult. And I asked how much is it for children, and he just said under 12s are free. I think he just presumed Izzy was under 12. But to be honest, I think we're all magnificented sufficiently by just going in the free bit. But right now, we've had a little inkling of a thought of going to get the really fresh, delicious Pastel de nata. This is the home of the Pastel de nata, of course, and in my experience, it's one of the best places to eat them. We walked past the home of the Pastel de nata, the very, very famous cafe, but it was absolutely packed. There were queues right out the door, so we think there's another one a little bit further on, which is just as good, so let's try that. Going back the other way, I think we might have slightly overshot. They all sell them, but will they all be fresh and warm and creamy? Horsey. Yeehaw! We're going to try this one. So we come into a much quieter cafe. She's having one of those delicious, freshly squeezed orange juices. I've got my Maybelline. Yum yum. Well, those boys have no stamina today. They want to go back to the flat for a nap, so off they went. So I've given Isabel a choice between the Coach Museum, the Maritime Museum, Centro Cultural de Belém to see if there was an art exhibition. What else? Can't remember. And she's chosen to investigate the Coach Museum. We're just coming to the entrance of the Coach Museum here, having a sneaky look through the window. Look, there are coaches in there. I wonder if this is a public bit I'm looking at here, or if this is the private behind-the-scenes lab. I wonder how much it's going to cost. Let's go and find out. So we're in. The adult ticket was €8, and we've kind of been directed up here. And I have no idea where we're going, but it's kind of fun exploring somewhere completely new. So we've been in here quite a while now. Me and Izzy were just hanging out, so I thought I'd film later, but she's gone off to explore now on her own, so I'm going to go back to the beginning and show you what we've seen so far. I'm not going to try and show you every single coach because there are so many, and I think you need to come anyway and see them for yourselves, but I'll show you a few little highlights. I like this one because it's so old. This one you're about to see here was used on the journey from Madrid to Lisbon in 1619. It's the oldest coach in the museum's collection. I wasn't quite sure which was the front and which was the back. Is that a going round a horse thing? I don't know. 1600s, eh? What a different world that must have been then. There's a rather lovely view of the bridge here, incidentally, and the Electricity Museum. Here's something that caught my eye. Can you guess what it is yet? It's a camp bed. There are so many little details on these coaches if you look closely and stand and stare for long enough. Some of them are really quite comical. Like this little face here poking out. And him, he reminds me of Narnia. And if the carvings aren't enough, look at these paintings. What a lot of work must have gone into these. This one was in use during the early 1700s. Well, those are incredibly showy, aren't they? They're almost verging towards the carnival float. Funny looking shape, isn't it? There's a painting here from 1693, and presumably it's in this museum because it does show those coaches in situ, all lined up going in through there. Reminds me of yesterday's vlog when we saw a marching band and a lot of military people going in through a little portal. I was just drawing Izzy's attention to this one because it really reminded me of the absorber loft from Doctor Who. What do you think? I've come right round the end and into a whole other section. That one reminds me of a gas mask. From the front, it reminds me even more of a gas mask. Looks like it has a big gaping open mouth if I get it right from this angle. What? Look at these sedan chairs. I think I'd feel guilty if I was in one of those, being carried by other people. Carrinhos de criança. Little children's ones. I thought they were models. What pulled them? A dog or something? They're tiny. Oh, that looks like a pram. A pram meets a carriage. I'd just been walking past the touchscreens, but Izzy's just showed me that it's a virtual tour inside these carriages, because obviously you can't go in them because they're so fragile. Oh, Izzy, look at that post one there in front of you. It's like 2 compartments in it. 1895 car. Look, a horseless carriage. What an innovation that was. What a great and awful thing for mankind. In this context, it's so easy to see how this car has evolved from that. You know, but how different it is from modern ones. We're going up the stairs. Izzy's going up that staircase, and we are going up this one. You see her. There she is. All the way over there. I think Izzy's getting a bit coached out. You're getting coached out. That was great. We really enjoyed that, even if Izzy did get a bit coached out. I think what happens is, there's just so much to see, so much detail in there that it's almost overwhelming to the senses, and I think sometimes I've got a bit of a tendency to just switch off, like I can't take any more. It's like sensory overload, but no, I really think it was good. Anyway, we are back here again on the other side than we came down, so we're going to get the train back now to Cais Sodré and head back to the apartment because Izzy's knackered. We had a little look at the timetable there. There's one due in 3 minutes. You're dropping on my feet. Bottle top. It's due at 56 minutes past, which is very soon, as you can see. We're back in Cais Sodré now. We're heading back off to the apartment now. I filmed loads today, so I think I'm going to end the vlog there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to give the video a like if you liked it, because it really helps this channel to grow. Comment down any thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for more adventures.
Bye.